All right, welcome to another episode of Build and Run. This is Lex and Dario, and we are here at the Global Game Jam 2016 at Microsoft headquarters in Times Square. We are here with the HTC Vive, the greatest of all VR headset equipment, whatever you call it. This is literally the full out system. Like, you don't even, this doesn't even, it doesn't even fall into the categories of any old HMDs or any kind of other technology. This is literally in a class by itself. And we are going to teach you how to develop for this luxury consumer electronic. This podcast, just like every other podcast, is brought to you by VRVU, full service VR production. VRVU.com if you need any help with virtual reality, augmented reality, 360, and HTC Vive. Right. With any further ado, Dario will take it away and show us.
So Lex is going to actually help in testing this basic, from scratch, hello world. I just created a new scene. So all we have here is a camera and a light, your typical default screen. And again, if you're even if you're new to Unity, we'll try to cover some of the basics. But essentially, you have a scene, you have your project, your game window where you're going to see what happens when you hit run. So right now we don't have anything in our scene. So what we're going to do is go to our Steam VR plugin. So the first step you have to do is obtain the Steam VR plugin from the asset store. And that's currently, at this point in time, how we develop for the Vive. We obtain Valve's Steam VR plugin. Once we imported that, then we can start looking at what prefab we can drag in. So right now I'm going to take the camera rig and just drag it up into our scene and drop it in there. And our camera rig takes care of the headset and the left and right controllers. So in fact, if we grab the left and right controllers,
Which are right here, beautiful.
he's getting them.
Yes.
And all I did was with that, drag it in. Now you may notice we have two main cameras. So I'm going to disable the previous main camera, or I can even delete it if I want. Or for now, I'll disable that. So again, I got the plugin, step 1, step 2, I drag and drop the camera rig prefab. Step 3, I disabled the original main camera, and again, you can even delete it. And now step 4, I'm going to make sure the file build settings is for Windows. By default, it is on this Windows machine. But if let's say you were developing another machine, you just make sure you target Windows, and depending on your PC you're going to run, the 64 architecture. In any case, that's it. It's the 4 simple steps, and then you can actually hit run. So we're going to try to hit run. And now,
Full skybox. Look at this beautiful Unity. I've never seen the Unity skybox in such
and as you can see, the controllers and the models for the new Vive pre-models, because we've changed the models of the controllers, you can actually obtain these models from the Steam installation on your Windows.
And there's something magical about the detail and the little rivets and the fact that it's perfectly shaded with the lighting. Just beautiful. It's very much satisfaction just in holding these in just an empty skybox. This is alone. I could be in this for a little while having fun.
So again, it's just simple 3-4 steps, and you're up and running. Now I'm going to cover in my blog. I also cover this how to develop even if you don't have a kit. So there's a way to obtain the controller models and have them at runtime. But you can already start imagining how you can port your app. If you have an existing camera, we have a script you can just throw in the camera if you don't want to have a new camera rig in there. So there are several ways to approach this, for porting or for starting from scratch. In this case, we started from scratch, and we already have Lex happily running in this Hello World app.
And it's already got the built-in, like this built-in wall that fades in and out based on your proximity. It's these kind of UI elements are things that VR game developers have been working out for not decades, but whatever, months, years, whatever. And this comes pre-loaded right into the prefabs. Like, a lot of this stuff is already here for you.
So I'm going to show you some sample scenes that come with the plugin.
Oh, nice.
So first I'm going to show you the Steam VR test throw. So I'm going to open that scene. I'm not going to say the previous scene. So now let's run this one. And
lighting alone, you know, like there's something about VR. So is the lighting is never.
The first thing you'll notice right on the floor is that you see the play area.
Yes.
So we have programmatic access to the actual play area that we've defined when we set up this room. And as you can see, he's now creating these objects which he's throwing. So again, the entire scene, the scripts involved, the code is there for you to copy and use.
And there's something incredibly satisfying about throwing things. It seems like, what do you know, like I've thrown things before in the real world. No, you've never thrown anything like with this much fun. Literally, you almost get a giggle out of the impact, the roll, the physics animation, and the fact that you're controlling it, that you're doing it is I mean, this is a game right here. Without anything, without any mission, any story. I'll be in this throwing things for for hours and feeling great about it.
I've seen developer jams. I've seen people take this sample and create a bowling game like.
Oh yeah.
In minutes, literally.
Let's see. Look at that. Strike. Whoa. Softball. I can see softball right there. Look at that. Right in the strike zone. Right in the strike zone. Oh. Look at that. Now let's do. Look at. I mean, it's just incredibly satisfying. This is one of those things where, you know, I'm telling you how great this is, but until you've tried it, you're just taking my word for it. There's nothing else that compares to this in the real world or in any other VR hardware even. Like you can throw things in cardboard or anything, and it's not, you don't have this kind of satisfaction, this kind of literally giggle effect. It's like just I could just keep doing this because it's that alone. It's fun. You have a game mechanic without even basically drag and drop. So is there more? Is there this?
No, I think we should start porting your game.
Beautiful. Yes, rock and roll. So this is from this we can get started. All right. Let's take this off.
So we can screencast from your laptop, and we can show you how.
Yeah.
How you can develop even without a Vive.
Yeah, and that's really that is absolutely the gem of all knowledge, because to be able to develop before the Vive comes out, first of all, you're able to kind of before it even comes out, you can have something, and if it's impressive enough, send it to them. I mean, this is something that as a developer in VR, this is the time. This is the time where you can shine, because it's all starting now. Like it's gonna come out. Like imagine when the iPhone first came out, or just recently the Apple TV just came out. You know, and being the first app on the Apple TV, it has some notoriety to it. It has some, basically when anybody is filling up their device of any sort, whether it's apps or whatever, what you add the first couple of days is basically what's gonna stay on your device. So if you can have a product on the HTC Vive, the first day, that's probably going to stay on people's devices forever. And I mean, only the elite of the elite. Like if you're president of the United States, you're going to have a Vive. You know, if you are Trump, you will have a Vive. If you are, if you're anybody who's anybody, you will be experiencing VR through this. And then if you can be developing for that, even before it comes out in your freaking mom's basement, do it. There's nothing better. And with this, what he's about to tell you is the secret of all secrets, the most valuable gem of knowledge that I can't wait to actually find out myself. I've been dying. And let's get started on some screen cap so you can watch what I'm doing on my screen. Come on now. Here we go. So right now I am doing the rainbow circle. What is this thing called? The pinwheel of death. Yes. And that's another thing the Vive does not have. Has zero latency, zero pinwheels, no loading, never says loading, never says please wait, no waiting. You just put that thing on, and I mean, fantastic. The graphics on it are they're being driven by your machine, right? So whatever graphics processors you have, if you chain two graphics cards together, you can achieve some fantastic graphics. And that's really the limiting factor of any VR is you can only you're limited right now. Like you're making VR, you're making it essentially for mobile platforms, which is like simple, low polygon. Always have to worry about triangle counts, this and that. This you don't have to. This you can go all out. You can create to your mind's, your heart's content. You can let your imagination run wild and create impressive stuff. I mean, nobody's impressed by low polygon, crappy, cell shaded. You're impressed by you see the tilt brush. Like that is impressive because you can see shadows. The particles are literally stunning. Here we go. And let's get started with the screen recording so we can port Ritualizer right onto the HTC Vive instantly. Bam. The screen recording. Rock and roll. All right. So I have here Unity open. I'm going to go ahead and download the Steam VR plugin. And that's what it is. It's once the beauty of the Unity and the asset stores, you just jump in here and you will you have everything at your fingertips, drag and drop without, literally none of this was coded, right? You just drag and drop the prefabs, and already, I mean, I'm in there and I don't want to leave. So imagine just a little bit of code what can do. So we'll talk about, what is it, Valve?
Steam VR.
Steam VR, yes.
Yeah, this is subject to change. Things are going to get even easier in the future.
Oh yeah, I mean it's already the fact that you're going to show us how to do it without the controllers. That's already a next level of ease, So we take that, and then follow Dario. You have a Twitter too?
Yeah, it's NYC Java.
Beautiful. And he also runs the
Java meetup.
Yes, and the Google one too, right?
The Google developer group.
Yes.
As well.
Jesus, man. I need have time, man. But yeah, literally some of the best meetups.
I have a lot of help.
Yeah. But I mean, oh my God, some of the greatest events. I've been to your Google Tango. I've been to a lot of your talks. And wow, one of the greatest meetups. Literally, it inspired me to do my meetup. Just because you do a great job, man. And it's very incredibly informative. A great community. And every day, I mean, releasing this sacred knowledge of VR. Bam, here we go.
You want to allow all the default settings when you import it into your project. So now he's got it imported into his project. Now let's talk a little bit about your project and what it does right now.
Right. So right now, this is it. We'll show it on a mobile device. And it's pretty simple. It's as simple as you can get. This is the bare minimum of a game, right? It is. It's a ritualizer. So we took the concept of what a ritual is. It's essentially doing a series of actions in a certain sequence, and then with vocal utterances. So we start out with a $sign. So you draw a $sign with your finger. If you do it correct, it says correct. You got the dollar. If you do it wrong, it's gonna say. Still say correct. We made it pretty easy on the first level, but if you're completely wrong, it says fail. And then it's got a little timer, so you're kind of on a time limit. And then it says say the word money. I said too many words. And you said, and there are so many. So I obviously failed this ritual. And then there will be other rituals. So this is the money ritual, the worship of the almighty dollar. There will be other rituals where we should probably worship the HTC Vive. I think that would be if we make the letters HTC and then say Vive is the greatest. I think we could all worship it like it should be worshipped. But yeah, that would be one of the things that we could start with. Cool. Look at this UI here. This is pretty incredible.
All right, so you want to import accept all the defaults when you import.
Excellent. You made the right choice. Look at that. Beautiful. This is like the kind of humor that I think Unity also has a little bit of some of the greatest parts about Unity is kind of like the error messages are very, very kind of friendly.
So I think what you're looking to do initially is to, at the very least, have it run inside the Vive, even if it's 2D,
Mm-hmm.
and just to be able to see your app in the headset. This is the first step.
Beautiful.
And then we'll worry about adding controllers and being able to continue development on your Mac, even though you don't have a kit attached to it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the key. I mean, that's like anybody, anywhere can do it with that, man. That's,
Right.
So all we've done so far is just downloaded Steam VR off the asset store. And
I imagine you have a camera in here, right?
There we go.
In here.
Yeah.
So what we could do is we can drag and drop a.
Camera right.
No, we can use the existing camera, or we can use a new camera rig.
Mm-hmm. So what do you recommend? Is there a big
how
difference?
much of your scripting is tied to the original
0.
camera? So it's just a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So you can probably drag in and drop the camera rig,
All right.
and you would disable the other one, the previous one.
I like to just delete. No, I don't like to delete it. I do like to delete it, but
Just in
I'm
case,
scared.
we'll just disable it. We'll just disable
Excellent.
it just in case.
Cool.
So even at this point in time, we should be able to run this, create an executable which you can run on the Windows machine.
I'm just gonna set the position to where my other camera was, so it's
So you can actually have it centered
yeah,
correctly.
it's about right. Beautiful. And then so how do I just build it
Well,
up?
the build settings now, it has to be targeting Windows.
Windows,
It's
that's
currently, Vive only runs on Windows machines.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have it,
Sure
you have
is.
to install the Windows.
That's odd. It's already there. No, oh, not PC Mac. It's
You want to select Windows.
oh, I got it. Yes.
And your target
Beautiful.
platform.
All right.
And probably 8664.
Beautiful.
Right. And now you can actually just build it, or copy on the thumb drive and see if it runs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how we iterate and see
Beautiful.
if we can continue that.
Oh man, and that's really so. Well, you really do need a Windows machine, right? So it is
Yes, the Vive only runs on Windows currently.
awesome. And what are there plans for?
There's plans for Linux and Mac support as well.
Awesome.
So it all depends really on how the power of the GPU and what
Mhm.
platforms that runs on.
Yeah.
So that's right now it's dictating which platform.
Yeah, and it's
So-
like you could
so-
get a lot of more graphics power on Windows machines.
Right.
Be able to just open them up. And yeah, you know what? Even I've actually had to get a Windows machine back in the day for like the Connect to work properly. And as much as like, oh, there's a love Mac and we all love the silver. No, I mean, there's some things where if you're going to be a VR pro, you're going to need a Windows machine. I mean, some things are just better done on it. And as it's
Well,
much.
hopefully this will spur for all platforms to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
up and
Yeah, man, it's
participate in VR.
it's awesome. It is to be able to make something for this is literally like being able to drive a Ferrari if you're like a race car fanatic, you know, and you're always just watching NASCAR races from home, and one day you go to Italy and are able to drive like a real Ferrari on their real track, you know, from just sitting on your couch. This is what this feels like. Every VR I've ever done to this day pales in comparison to this experience and to the experience of deving on this. Like literally attaching stuff just right to the prefabs. You throw the prefab controllers, and then you could essentially make the same tilt brush. You can make particles and put out fires with water. And for this example, we're going to use Ritualizer. We're going to make some ritual actions with some gesture recognition, hopefully. Very cool. So let's see how much are we doing on time. We got about 5 minutes. I think we could cut this short. Just once again, tell them your website, the blog, and your Twitter so they can follow you.
Oh, sure. I blog where a lot of developers are blogging, a lot of Googlers are blogging, which is medium.com. So I've started blogging there on all sorts of things, from Tango to Vive. I'm going to be adding Android as well and other things. I will be continuing an update to the Vive tutorial I have on there very soon, because I realize a lot of people want to learn how to port from different platforms. Like they have a Coreboard app. What do I do to have it run on the Vive? And there's a lot of best practices I also list on what entails room scale VR, what design considerations you need, because you can't just port a rotational VR experience into a room scale experience. You got to be very careful about the gotchas as far as best practices for dealing with the user and making sure that user experiences full immersion and presence. It's all about that.
Yeah, there's definitely no cutting corners. One of the things you realize about VR is you can't, you can't hide stuff behind other stuff. Like you'll be able to turn your movie, oh, what's that? Or so you,
Right.
and especially port. You would every experience is eventually going to be ported to this. Like you would, why would you use anything else when this becomes available?
Or you can look at it the other way around. Everything's going to be ported
Yeah.
from this super set to
Back down? Yeah, I can
back
see
down,
that.
scale
Yeah.
down.
I try to do it too. I try to make everything cardboard usable, like for the people, for the masses. But man, I mean, if you're a VR developer, it is.
Yeah, if you think of a new game or a new experience, consider room scale
Yes.
first, and then then you can always bring it down to seated or standing experience.
Yeah, and then, I mean, room scale is the pinnacle, is the gold standard for VR. I mean, if you want a VR experience and you try room scale and then you go back to non-room scale to just seated, you're like, is this even VR anymore? What do you call this? This is like half D or something, 2.3D. It's not. I mean, the magic of being able to walk around. So these demos are just freaking mind blowing, and the fact that you would, you literally start leaning on stuff as if it's there. You don't have that from a seated thing. This is VR like you've never experienced it. And we're just so happy that you're here, man. That you're here to demo this. I
Sure.
mean, this is like
No problem.
this is the promised land. This is what we all like. We see this in the distance and like we could get there, yeah. And thank you, man. Thank you for the blog. Thank you for this information, man. With this, we can start deving for this platform, which is, I mean, this is what we all are going to want to dev for when we realize what it really is. Some people, if you've never heard of the HTC Vive. You're not even on the right planet. Go to where the Vive is. If you go to the site, there are some. What would people do if they wanted to try it? Like, was there meetups? How would you? What would
If
you
you go to
recommend?
htcvive.com, there should be some information as to what events are coming where we're featuring the Vive.
Is it going to be? There's a Unity conference in California in February. It's going to be there for
Yes,
sure, right?
I'd hope to be there as well,
Awesome.
and we'll take it from there as we come close to the launch.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you so much, man.
Sure.
This
Thanks,
is-
Lex, for
my palms are ridiculously sweaty from this experience. It is like I feel like I have a meeting. Who's the greatest celebrity of all time? It's Michael Jackson. Living Michael Jackson or whatever. But this is literally like a life-changing experience. And thank you guys for joining us. This has been an episode of Build and Run. You could find more at build-run.com. And this episode, like every other episode, has been brought to you by VRVU, full-service VR production, AR, VR, 360, HTC Vive. Beautiful,
Thanks.
man.